Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about having Pisces on the 8th house cusp in a natal chart. Now, first thing I want to get at is that just because if you have Pisces on your 8th house cusp in your natal chart, it doesn't necessarily mean that your sexual partner will be a Pisces sun, moon, or ascendant, but it merely indicates that you may look for somebody that embodies Pisces-like attributes or characteristics. Now, it is still more probable than average, though, that the person you may be sexually attracted to could be a Pisces sun, moon, or ascendant. But anyway, the person is apt to be attracted to a sexual partner that may be very idealistic, could be somebody that's very compassionate, has a strong imagination, very rather emotional, sensitive, strong, intuitive, maybe ability, maybe well, at least better than average. Someone insightful, but on the negative side, it could be somebody that maybe might be somewhat maybe deceptive at times, or might be more to this person than meets the eye in some instances. And on the negative side too, it could attract prospective or potential sexual partner that might be involved in alcohol or drugs in some isolated cases. Now, the 8th house also governs death, and when at the time, or maybe in the general proximity of when this person dies, there might be some maybe problems with the feet. It doesn't necessarily mean that the person will die from these conditions, but maybe there's something, problems with the feet, such as like maybe a tumor, for example, or something, or some weakness connected with this, such as like maybe problems with maybe nerve damage, or would be another example. Could also, in some remote isolated cases, person may need to be careful, I would think, things connected with water such as drowning, things connected with liquids or chemicals, and in some rare instances maybe this person may succumb to some kind of perhaps a chemical poisoning, maybe just something that is in the air, for example, or in toxins maybe that they may inadvertently take in. So those are some things to look at. Or this person may simply die a peaceful restive kind of death, maybe while they're dreaming. It's another example. The 8th house is also connected with transformation and regeneration. So perhaps this person may find some transformation, or be able to maybe change, make it a powerful change in his or her life, perhaps through things like photography, even in some remote cases, maybe like illusion, like working as a magician, for example, through their dreams, through their ideals, perhaps even through the metaphysical, something maybe something spiritual as well as a possibility. So those are some things to look at. Even Pisces and Neptune is connected with dancing as well, so those are some things to consider. And maybe even through their imagination and through compassion toward others. Now, the 8th house also is associated with inheritances, and it's possible that maybe at the time of an inheritance from somebody, maybe there's some chaos, or there's something convoluted in going on at this particular time. Maybe there's confusion as to what goes where and who is supposed to get what, or there's something there's something that's nebulous about, maybe, or unclear regarding the will. Maybe this in some instances, maybe there might be some deception connected with this, such as maybe the person that has this placement doesn't get necessarily everything what he or she was intended to get, and there was something maybe that was hidden in some instances. Another thing can be maybe this person may inherit Pisces-like things, such as some things that are maybe connected with the water, such as things that are like scuba gear, for example, or fishing equipment, and things that are just associated perhaps with the water in general, such as boats or something of that nature. Now, the eighth house also governs shared resources. So it's what's important to remember is that this person makes sure that the self-sacrificing Pisces doesn't go maybe beyond limitations where it becomes a lack of equilibrium between this person's resources and the others, and that this person isn't doing 95% of the thing with the shared resources, if you know what I'm saying, and there's lack of balance. And if there's something connected where this person might be in perhaps in a business situation, it's important to be very prudent and careful, and make sure that the people that they're in something with, like a business that is associated with joint resources, that this person is credible and trustworthy that they're working with, and that they're not doing something such as taking money out maybe when they're not supposed to, out of their fund, or whatever you want to call it. And since the eighth house is Pisces, if there's some kind of shared resources, it could be things that are connected perhaps with boating, or such as something near a dock or by water. There might be for example, some property, or the business itself might be near water, for example. It might be maybe a pharmaceutical or chemistry place, for example, like a business connected with that. Something with photography, and something with dancing is another example. So those are definitely some things to look at when you look at Pisces on the cusp of the 8th house in one's natal chart. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Pisces on the cusp of the 8th house in a natal chart. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about the 9th house in astrology. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.